Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on wherever you are. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. We are still celebrating the New Year because we've just entered a very nice year, 2023. That one, I know it's going to be a very fantastic year for each and every one of us. Here back, I'm your Nance Kovia Namhula, celebrated hero who made it to the top 3 back here in Uganda. And I'm still so grateful to whoever thanked me, to whoever nominated me, to whoever appreciated the little I do for you to see that we improve on our health. So I remember one time I told you that I'll come here and I tell you how I choose to use the preventive model. And I told you I'll let you know what entails in the preventive model. So when it comes to prevention, there's a saying that always goes on that says prevention is better than cure. Prevention is better than cure. That is true. When you prevent, you avoid a lot of disturbances, you avoid a lot of expenditures, you psychologically treat yourself. Everything is very okay when you prevent. So when we are looking at prevention, in prevention we have 3 stages. The first stage is the primary prevention. When you're preventing primarily, you do not want to see that there is anything that will happen. You're preventing a disease from happening. So you do a primary prevention. Then when it has happened, then you have to go to the hospital and do the diagnostics. They check the blood, they find out what you're suffering from, then they start the treatment. So when it is at that level, still in the hospital we are doing prevention, but this time around at a secondary level, we are preventing by finding out what the disease is and then treating the disease to heal. So yes, when we have finished the secondary, then we have what we call the tertiary. After you recovering from that disease, we have to tell you on how to manage yourself such that we prevent the complications. For example, let me give you different examples in that tertiary. So let me give you an example that you have been admitted on board. So we have to make sure that we follow the right timings of the medication. And after, even when we are discharging you, we give you a discharge management and we ensure that we health educate you on how to take it. So please always endeavor to follow the medical people's advice such that we get the proper healing, such that we never get any complications. So us teaching you on discharge, or when we are trying to say that we are preventing any further complications that would happen, and that is the tertiary management, that tertiary prevention. So I, Kovia Namhula, I chose to use the prevention measure because I know that is the best way of treating people. That is the best way of improving on anyone's health. Just imagine if I identified your need and it is at a primary level. So I would use a preventive measure which is at a primary level. Let me give you an example. Back here in Uganda, we always suffer with what we call malaria. Before we go ahead with malaria, if you like the video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe such that you always get the notifications. So let me give you an example of malaria. In Uganda, we always have that problem of malaria coming up and then every now and then. Most people when it's like maize season, people associate it that the maize cause malaria. Then the others will say the mangoes cause malaria. Then the others will also come and say the rain causes malaria. Oh, my dear friends, malaria is not caused by all those things. The reason as to how you say maize, it's because when it's a season for maize, there are dark places, and mosquitoes love dark places, and that's why they'll hide, and in the evening they'll come and attack you. Then from nowhere you get the measles. Still, it's the same thing with the mangoes. When they're flowering, when they're the leaves are too many, everything is so dark, so mosquitoes love dark places. They'll come in there and then they'll affect you. But maize, rain, and mangoes don't cause malaria. Malaria is caused by a female Anopheles mosquito, and it must bite you before you get the malaria. And remember, malaria is communicable. It can move from you to another, because the mosquito that is infected can bite you and then go to another person and bite that person, or the other person and the other person. So that is what you should know, that it is communicable. It can move from you to another by that same infected female Anopheles mosquito. So how do we prevent malaria? Primarily, we are going to look at how we are preventing malaria primarily, because remember I said we are here to improve on our health. All I want is to see healthy people. I don't want to see people who are sick at any cost. So if we are to prevent malaria, we know very well that we must sleep under a treated mosquito net. We must always make sure that we clear any stagnant water around our places. If you want the stagnant water to stay around, please oil it. Put some oil on that stagnant water, such that it doesn't act as an area for the mosquitoes to multiply. Then always make sure that you close your doors and windows by 5 p.m. Between 4:30 and 5 p.m. you should close all the windows and the doors, because that's the time the mosquitoes are entering the house. But I also encourage you that in the morning at 5, always open your windows, because that time the mosquitoes are not entering, but there's that fresh air that is not contaminated, and it is very needed in your house. So always open up so that the fresh air enters. So when you close your windows, your doors by 4:30 p.m., you are sure the mosquitoes are not going to enter. That this talk is specifically for those ones who are in this malaria, in the areas where malaria is common. So you can take the advice, teach your friends, teach your family, your children, such that we don't ever suffer from malaria. So when you've closed the windows and the doors early, always make sure that during those evening hours, wear long sleeves. Long sleeves, you will wear a blouse that ends here, and then if possible you can glove, then long trousers. Why? Because mosquitoes not only find us on beds to bite us, but even in a sitting room, they come and bite you from the sitting room. So always make sure that during those evening hours you have put on those long clothes. If you have a fan, always put a fan, because the fan has a way of chasing away the mosquitoes. Please, you can put your fan while you're seated, just to keep away the mosquitoes from biting you. If you don't want to put on the long sleeves, if the weather is hot, just turn on your fan such that the mosquitoes are pushed away. You should always keep in mind that mosquitoes not only find you on bed, but even when you're seated. So that's why I'm saying you should always put on long sleeves and then the long clothes down. Then the other thing is, if you have any hanging clothes in the room, please bring them down, because those will act as the homes for those mosquitoes. So it is always good to pack them in either suitcases or wardrobes, and you enclose the wardrobes off such that mosquitoes don't come from that. So you make sure that there is no hangings in the house, in your house, that clothes are on the nails or on hangers freely in the house. No, when you leave them like that, you'll find that mosquitoes will always hide there, and they will move from there every now and then start biting you and infecting you with malaria. Then the other thing is, always spray. Every now and then you spray your house for 30 minutes, close it off, enter after, then you enjoy life. So thank you very much for listening, for watching this video. If you like the information, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Don't forget to comment, because when you give me feedback, I'm able to improve on what I'm giving you, or we are able to improve on our knowledge. Thank you very much, but always remember, self-medication is not the way to go. If you feel any signs and symptoms, don't self-medicate. We shall learn more about that, because that goes to secondary prevention. For today, we've learned about primary prevention of malaria and the 3 preventive models, which is the primary, secondary, and tertiary. Thank you very much. I remain yours, Kovia Namhula, nursing officer, celebrated hero in health back here in Uganda, year 2022. Stay blessed. I love you all.